Making the headlines this morning, Governor Soludo extols contributions of late Anambra State Assembly Majority Leader Dr. Okafor. Anambra Transport Ministry received 10 computer sets from philanthropist Okafor. Federal government seeks better conditions for Canadian visa for Nigerians. North Korea uncovers 4 suspected new coronavirus cases. Before the news in detail, here is a special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround, maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. Good morning and welcome to the news. My name is Chidima Oranwa. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has expressed shock over the sudden death of the member representing Awka South Constituency 1 in the Anambra State House of Assembly, Dr. Nnamdi Okafor, who doubles as the majority leader of the House. Governor Soludo, in a statement by his Chief Press Secretary, Mr. Christian Aburime, expressed regret that the State House of Assembly has lost another lawmaker barely 3 months after the demise of the member representing Agota Constituency 2, Mr. Okechukwu Okoye. He described Dr. Nnamdi Okafor as an active participant at the 7th Assembly who devoted his time and energy to represent his constituency, extending the condolences of Anambra State government to those he left behind, including his family, Awka South Constituency 1 and Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Uche Okafor, as well as all the lawmakers. Governor Soludo urged the living to continue to reflect on the essence of life and live for good of the society like Dr. Nnamdi Okafor. Dr. Okafor reportedly slumped at Stanton City, Johannesburg, South Africa, where he was attending a statutory training session of members of Anambra State House of Assembly. In a similar development, the Anambra State House of Assembly has described the death of one of her major members and majority leader of the House, Dr. Nnamdi Okafor, who was representing Awka South Constituency 1, as a real shock. The House in a statement said that Dr. Okafor slumped and died in South Africa as the cause of his death is yet to be ascertained as it awaits the autopsy result. In a press statement, the Speaker of the Anambra State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Uche Okafor, said that the news of his death came to them as shock. Right Honorable Okafor described the death of the majority leader of the House as a great loss to the legislative institution in the state, Awka community and the state at large, and noted that late Dr. Okafor was a knowledgeable and active legislator whose contributions both in the legislature and his constituency distinguished him among his contemporaries. The Speaker said that the State House of Assembly has lost a great erudite and eloquent lawmaker in the person of Dr. Nnamdi Okafor, and posited that the deceased lawmaker's short but eventful life and times are worthy of emulation. Right Honorable Okafor, on behalf of the state lawmakers and the entire legislature, commiserated with his wife and the family and prayed God to grant the soul of Dr. Okafor eternal repose. Anambra government has restated that a ban on commercial motorcycles in major cities such as Awka, Onitsha, Nnewi and Ekwulobia is still in force. The Commissioner for Information, Chief Paul Mosu, stated this while briefing the press after the weekly Executive Council meeting of the government at the Government House, Awka. We have details from our studio.
The commissioner observed that some commercial motorcycle riders, popularly known as Okada, have gradually found their ways back on roads in Awka, Onitsha, Nnewi, and Ekwulobia. He said that their recklessness, owing to lack of riding training and ignorance of traffic signs, are beginning to produce high rate of avoidable accidents on the state roads. Chief Nwosu maintained that Okada has been fingered severally by law enforcement agents as being the major conveyor belt through which criminals ply their nefarious businesses. The commissioner added that for a place like Nnewi, where private motorcycles are means of commuting to places of work and business, the riders must wear crash helmets to protect their heads in case of accidents. He stated that companies involved in courier services, dispatch services, and home deliveries must register with the Ministry of Transport and have their riders properly kitted up. Chief Nwosu announced that while Okada may ply the suburban and rural areas where motor transport is scarce, that plan is underway to have them enumerated and branded in order to determine the genuine commercial motorcyclists and be able to track any operator who is involved in breaching the law. The Information Commissioner warned that anyone caught violating these orders will be made to face the full wrath of the law. He said that the State Executive Council took exception to the increasing wave of domestic violence against spouses of both genders, as it has been discovered that male spouses have also become victims of domestic violence, warning that anyone who engages in such acts henceforth would be arrested and tried before a court of competent jurisdiction and punished accordingly.
Anambra State Commissioner for Transport, Mrs. Patricia Iwebike, is joined on the call by Governor Chukwuma Soludo on the Anambra to imbibe the spirit of collective social responsibility to build an enviable state. Mrs. Iwebike made the call while receiving 10 brand new laptop computers donated to her by a notable philanthropist, Chief Eze Okafor, in her office in Awka. We have details from our studio.
The commissioner emphasized that the call has become more important in the light of Anambra State government's policy on strategic partnership and fruitful collaboration with the private sector towards building a smart, prosperous and livable mega city. According to her, the clarion call by the governor has started paying off with the donation of the brand new laptops by Chief Okafor. She commended the donor for keeping to his promise and appealed to other well-meaning in the Anambra, corporate organizations and wealthy individuals in the state and beyond to emulate the kind gesture and contribute to lifting the state to greater heights. On his part, the Commissioner for Information, Sir Paul Nwosu, harped on the need for all hands to be on deck in reawakening the spirit of corporate social responsibility by the Anambra at all levels of governance in the state. Sir Paul underscored the importance of advanced technology in the day-to-day running of government, pointing out that technology has come to stay as an internationally accepted best practices, and while thanking the donor for the gesture, prayed God to reward him abundantly. Responding, the representative of Chief Okafor, Nze Azubike Ezechuhu, said his principal is highly inspired by the laudable programs and policies of Governor Soludo's administration, noting that the responsibility of building a new Anambra state should not be left for government alone. High point of the event was the presentation of the laptops to the commissioner, flanked by Sir Paul.
Adazina community in Anoche local government area has performed the traditional rites to mark its 2022 New Yam Festival. The event came to a climax with the eating of the yam in various villages after the traditional ruler of the community, Igwe Alfonso Okbalechalo, had performed the ceremonial cutting of the new yam. After the traditional celebration, one of the villages in the community, Enugu, also performed the ceremonial eating of the new yam following the customary authorization of the traditional ruler, and explained that the essence of the festival is to rekindle the interest of Ndibo in respecting their rich cultural heritage. Correspondent Blessing Uchendo reports.
The event kicked off with the traditional Egundi Ichie, followed by appearances of the popular Izaga, Ajovia and Ekuru masquerades respectively. Speaking during the event, the head of Enugu village, Adazenu, Chief Jidofo Okongu, who described culture as people's way of life, called for the compulsory teaching and learning of Igbo language and culture in all schools and colleges in the Southeast geopolitical zone to save it from total extinction. Chief Okongwu, a lawyer and member of the National Executive Committee of the Nigerian Bar Association (NBA), used the opportunity to call on youths to embrace agriculture in order to become self-reliant amidst growing unemployment, even as he commended Governor Chukwuma Soludo for his proactive agricultural policies. He urged affluent individuals to always channel their resources to programs that will have positive impact on their various communities and called on Ndi Igbo to find ways of making the New Yam Festival a tourist attraction.
To go back to cultivation, can we tell you why? So many surpluses, where so many agricultural products that they produce. Hunger will lose, and when employment, and when they are working alone. So no one has to come here mother bella. I know if I know. No matter by Mako, yes. No, man, I will cause. Obviously, you buy a million, Butenka, Abapo America, Abapo UK, Abapo Union, to open a progress. They will come back and to
the candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) for Dunukofia, Njikoka, and Anocha Federal Constituency in next year's election, Prince Emeka Eze, his YPP counterpart, Chief Chukwuemeka Okonkwo, both of whom attended the ceremony, noted that celebrating New Yam Festival portrays the core Igbo culture and tradition passed down from early generations and prayed for sustained peace and unity in Enugu village, Adazenu.
Manasi ebe ọ bụ na fa awagoji na Chineke ya weta ezigbo ife n'obodo a emechi falie ji a oye edo mkpụrụ obi fa doo anụ arụfa fa ya wuo ogologo ndụ ego ya abatakwa ani fa ya adị nlo ka fa wee kọkwa ji ọzọ maka agba ọfụ ife aka na-ebesi na Josas bụ onye nwanyị
na iji a ga-erite a ga-eri nke na-esie otu ọnọdụ a ga-anọweri nke na-esie ya karịsị because na a na-enwe changes wee sị na nke anyị na ebe atata anyị ga-anọkwa nke ahụ na-abịanụ wee na-asị na ka Chineke dole ndị Adazenu Enugu village na Adazenu na-eri nje na itata na Chukwu na ha ji gbakọ ebe atata agbakọkwa nke na-arụ na-abịanụ because nke arụ na-abịanụ ga-adị iche.
Some members of the village, including Chief Emmanuel Eziuzo, Prince Chike Okongwu, and Lady Josephine Okongwu, among others, while thanking God for a bountiful harvest, prayed for the growth of their village and community. The event, which attracted traditional Prime Minister of Adazenu community, Chief Edward Ezokonkwo, the clergy, cultural proponents, among others, featured musical and cultural displays, eating of the New Yam by Ndenugu village and their guests, as well as raffle draw. From Adazenu, Anocha Council area, Blessing Uchendo, ABS News.
The federal government has appealed to the Canadian government to remove stringent conditions in procuring visa for Nigerians to have easy access to the country. The Minister of Interior, Weni Rof Araveshola, made the appeal when the High Commissioner of Canada to Nigeria, James Christophe, alongside his team, paid him a visit in Abuja. Araveshola also urged the Canadian government to assist Nigeria in sharing its technological innovations that will promote installation of facilities to monitor movement in Nigeria's borders for quick responses on security matters. This, he said, will fast-track investment opportunities in Nigeria. Earlier, the Canadian High Commissioner Christophe had disclosed that the purpose of his visit was to strengthen bilateral cooperation with Nigeria in the areas of economy, security, technology, education, and training of immigration officers on efficient border monitoring for security purposes. Christophe further informed that Canadian government will review some of the conditions in getting visa to Canada so that Nigerians can access Canada without much difficulties. One of the most widely consumed drinks in Nigeria, the Hero Lager beer, has marked its 10 years anniversary to celebrate the success and impact of the brand in the society. The 10 years anniversary celebration, which birthed the campaign Kanyewaji, was held over the weekend at the Onitsha Plant International Breweries Onitsha. Correspondent Faith Onyemuche has details.
The Hero Lager beer, popularly called Ompa, is a pro-culture brand that has penetrated the eastern part of Nigeria for its role in promoting brotherhood, culture, hard work, and the progressive spirit of Ndibo. Speaking at the event, the brewery's operations director, West Africa, Mr. Tony Aja, said the brand have surmounted various challenges to be where they are presently, including insecurity, economic meltdown, and the COVID-19 pandemic. But despite all these, they have remained consistent in quality and taste. Mr. Aja appreciated their prestigious customers, whom he described as their greatest motivation for believing in them, assuring that the brand is committed to producing superior quality fresh beer for their satisfaction.
Why do people call Telegro for our products? Because we've got that edge, we've got that consistency that differentiates we, as you represent our product from the others. Okay, so people always want to come back to us. Okay, the quality, the taste, and the premiumness that Tulu spoke about. Even within these challenges, what makes us different is that we keep ourselves ahead of the curve. But the differentiating factor is that we are heroes. Okay, and we, as much as possible, try to, be ahead of that curve.
Also speaking, the marketing director, Mrs. Tolu Adedeji, said the Kanye Waji campaign, which is birthed to mark the 10 years anniversary of the brand, is to identify with the symbolic and cultural value of the kola nut used by Ndibo for celebrations. Mrs. Adedeji pointed out that the brand has not only satisfied their customers in taste, but has also complemented the efforts of the government in fighting unemployment through its job creation. The Eba Boy campaign, where over 10 million persons benefited from the NPFL sponsorship, among other channels created to empower the youth.
When we started this brand 10 years ago, the love and acceptance that the brand has enjoyed, to the point that our consumers now call Hero Ompa, which means father. So we say a big thank you for that love and for that support and the acceptance of the brand. Hero Lager beer is a brand that exists, to reward our consumers. Like we say, we inspire consumers to go be the heroes.
In an interview with ABS, the brand ambassador Chief Nkem Owo commended the brand for maintaining consistency in quality content to meet the desire of consumers. Chief Owo, who is also a Nollywood actor and a huge promoter of the Igbo culture, expressed happiness that the brand identifies with the Igbo culture, which is one of his strategic selling points, while wishing the Hero Lager beer more celebrations.
My prayers is that next 10 years, Hero is going to add another 10 years plus positive 10 years, plus another positive 10 years. And we'll be counting it in tens. I thank Hero, not necessarily because of the shape of the bottle of Hero, because of the content, yes, and because of the content of what they are doing, particularly in Igbo land and in Nigeria in general.
One of the guests at the event, the TC chairman, Relief Market Obaro, Chief David Obidike, congratulated the brand for the success recorded within the past 10 years. The event was graced by the Obi of Onitsha, Igwe Alfred Achebe, among other stakeholders. From the Onitsha Plant International Bureaus, Onitsha, Faith Onyamuchi, reporting for ABS.
North Korea says it has found 4 new fever cases in its border region with China that may have been caused by coronavirus 2 weeks after Kim Jong-un declared victory over COVID-19. North Korea's state-run Korean Central News Agency said that health workers were conducting genetic tests on the samples taken from their people in Ryanggang province who exhibited fevers to confirm whether they were caused by the malignant epidemic. The North often uses the term along with malignant virus to describe COVID-19 and the coronavirus. Authorities immediately locked down the areas where the fever cases emerged and plan to maintain tight restrictions and quarantines until health workers determine the cause of the illness. Health authorities pay attention to the fact that those with fever had not been affected by the malignant epidemic. KCNA said The country's emergency antivirus headquarters dispatched the talented epidemiological virology and test experts to the area and has taken steps to trace all persons connected with the suspect cases, the report said. North Korea said there have been no confirmed COVID-19 cases in any part of the country since August 10, when Kim declared victory over the virus and ordered preventive measures eased just 3 months after the country acknowledged an outbreak. And now sports. Nigeria will host the African Nations Volleyball Championships under-18 girls from August 30 to September 10 at the Indoor Sports Hall of the Mashood Abiola Stadium, Abuja. The championship is a competition for national teams featuring players under the age of 18. It is a biannual competition organized by the African Volleyball Federation. Nigeria won the competition when it hosted it for the first time in 2020. But Tunisia is the most successful nation at the event, having won it 8 times since it started in 1994. According to African Volleyball Confederation President Bouchra Hadjij, who announced Nigeria is the host of the championship, he said the event will be held in accordance with CAVB competition regulations. The male event ended at the weekend with Nigeria failing to win a medal and losing out on the race to qualify for the FIVB World Championships. The girls are looking to do better and qualify for the World Championship. 13 countries have so far signified intention to participate in the championship, with organizers promising that all has been put in place to ensure a hitch-free competition. Remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by liking our Facebook page at ABS Radio Television. Subscribe to our YouTube page at ABS Television Orca. Follow us on Instagram at ABS Radio TV. You can also log on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. And now the main point again. Governor Soludo has extolled the contributions of late Anambra State Assembly Majority Leader Dr. Okafor. Anambra Transport Ministry has received a 10 computer set from philanthropist Okafor. Federal government is seeking better conditions for Canadian visa for Nigerians. And we also told you that North Korea has uncovered 4 suspected new coronavirus cases. Here's a special message before we go. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. And that's it on the news this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Chidimma Orangwa. Good morning.